Hey y'all, it's the Home Ec Lady. Today we're going to visit a pattern I recently made for a giant doll, or, giant compared to what I normally make. I've been working on an interesting project the last few weeks and I wanted to share it with you. I frequently get custom orders in my Etsy shop and I'm always happy to try something new, but this particular project resulted in a pattern that I can now sell in my Etsy shop. So if you aren't familiar with my story, I started out selling digital sewing patterns on Etsy back in 2020. And a cousin of mine suggested that I create a doll pattern, and the rest is history. So yeah, my biggest seller in the shop is dolls, and I became a reluctant doll maker. I made this multi-sized pattern about 3 years ago, and at first I listed it as a digital sewing pattern. And then clients started requesting the doll ready-made, and my shop kind of grew from there. But it's probably not what you think, because my biggest clients for weighted dolls are photographers who use the dolls to test their equipment, therapists who use them in things like nursing homes, and educators for parenting classes and at hospitals. So I wasn't too surprised when a clinic contacted me about creating a doll for them, and specifically they wanted to fit the doll with a spica cast. Based on this request, I did have to do a little research because I had no idea what a spica cast was. And I found out that this is what they're working with. It's a cast for the hip, and the purpose of this doll is to show parents how to buckle their kid into a car seat. And there were 3 requirements for the project, and the first one was that the torso had to measure 14 inches from the neck to the crotch. The second was that the inner leg had to also measure 14 inches. And they wanted the doll to weigh at least 25 pounds. And that's a lot to think about, considering the weight load that's going to be on the fabric and the shape of the crotchal region for this cast. The first go round I did what I normally do, and that's enlarge my regular doll pattern and sew one up, which I did, and it became obvious right away that this pattern was not going to work as is. The seams at the tops of the legs had to be opened in order to create a thigh. Round 2 was some progress, but still it was not good. The only thing I did was open up the bottom seam, so it wasn't any more flexible than it was the first go around. What I needed to do was extend the thigh upwards and make the crotch wider to get a doll that would fit that cast. And then I made the changes and sewed up another doll. Round 3 was a little better, but the arms, shoulders, and hips still needed to be adjusted. In fact, I never stuffed this one because, of course, I sewed the legs in backwards. But, obviously I've made a lot of dolls in this process so far, and you might be wondering how expensive this process is. And I want you to know that when I'm testing patterns like this, I use sheets that I get at the thrift store. About a queen size sheet will make 3 dolls this size for about $3. And then also for $3, I got some throw pillows from the thrift store and used that to stuff them. And to conserve the materials, every time I made a new pattern, I reused the stuffing from the old pattern. Round 4 was even better, and I was really happy with the results. The feet were the proper length, and the hips were okay. The crotch width was all right, but it could definitely use to be a bit wider. And the shoulders definitely needed to be wider as well. So I thought about relocating the butt dart too. Everything was just a small tweak as far as I could tell without it stuffed. And that's when I realized the legs were sewn in backwards, so this one never did get stuffed. It was a good time to redraw the pattern and try again, and the challenge was creating a crotch that would fit in the cast without ripping. So I made a few more of these creepy dolls to get the pattern just right. Let me tell you, it was scary having these things laying around, especially in the dark. Once the pattern was just right, I prepared the final dolls with the weight load of 25 pounds in mind. And I sewed all the seams with a really tight straight stitch and then went back over all the raw edges with a 4-thread serger. So I don't normally serge dolls, but this one's going to be holding a lot of weight. So to prevent it from ripping, I even triple stitched the arm and leg holes. So here it is all finished, and I have no doubt the design's going to work for the client's purpose because it has an actual thigh and crotch. And I've been wanting to create a completely unstuffed body for a long time now. This was the perfect excuse to get it taken care of. This one is also ideal for adding armature, which I think is great because I get a lot of questions about that sort of thing. I think clients like an option for stuffing these bodies themselves, not to mention how expensive it is to ship something this heavy. In total, I made 9 dolls to get 2 that were ready for sale, and then I'm going to make this pattern in multiple sizes and put a listing up in my shop for them. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you're leaving here inspired. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, because I'd love to have you back. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.